Hi there, my name is Nick Cousvis and welcome to another episode of Done Deal.
Are you ready for the action?
Hey everyone, welcome to a special episode of Done Deal with Nick Cousvis. This is a special episode because Nick is one of the many Canadians that are making themselves known in the US, that put themselves in a position to be at the top level and do very well. And a lot of guys are already doing that. The two most prestigious tours in the world are the FLW and Bassmasters. For years it's been dominated by American anglers, and only recently have we seen Canadians really make a mark south of the border and perform on the world stage and get a lot of recognition and winning some really big events. After years of limited success for Canadians south of the border, we have noticed a new trend in the last 5 years. In the past 5 years, 7 Canadians have won titles in either the Bass Series or the FLW. The trend started when Canada's biggest name in fishing, Bob Azumi, in 2011 won an FLW Everstart Series event on the St. Lawrence River. And then followed by that, there was Steve Stinson, who drove all the way down south to Florida and dominated an event, an FLW event on Lake Okeechobee, and set a record for over 32 pounds of 5 fish. Amazing job. Followed by that, in 2014 was John Brownridge, again winning a bass event this time, but again on the St. Lawrence River. And then in 2015, Curtis Richardson won the All-American event, the FLW Tour, winning $120,000. And then in 2015, Corey Johnson won an FLW event down south on James River, and then also his brother, Chris Johnson, just recently in 2016 won a Rookie of the Year on the FLW Tour. And then also recently, 2016, Mark Gavignon won a Bass Eastern Regional on Douglas Lake in Tennessee. These guys are making history. It has never happened before where so many Canadians are doing so well and consistently down south of the border on these big tours. After a long hiatus from the sport, Nick Cousvis is back with a vengeance and has been competing in tournaments for the last 2 years. Nick already has won a big Pro-Am event on Rice Lake and a 5th place at the Canadian Open on Lake St. Lawrence River, as well as many other top finishes in just 2 years after taking a long hiatus. He undoubtedly has what it takes to be the next Canadian to win big on one of these big tours. We join Nick as he's pre-fishing on Lake Ontario for 3 events that he has this month. Hey everyone, it's Kerry and Nick. This is our episode of Done Deal, and we're just heading back. It started off quite entertaining and smooth, and you know, caught a couple of fish off the bat. Yeah,
it was looking very promising. You know, continuing down that shoreline, I really thought we were going to find them somewhere, and it just, I don't know if the high winds from the days before had moved some of those fish out. It was obviously still some, but, you know, then things really got interesting late in the day.
Yeah. And so today's goal, you know, it's part of your pre-fishing.
Yeah.
Today you were checking new water, I guess an area that you saw on a map that looked good, but you wanted to go and actually fish it, but you've never fished it in a tournament before.
Yeah, no, I actually, the area that we were in, I just started pre-fishing, and I had a day and a half out there earlier this week, and I just wanted to go and expand on that.
Now, you know, some of your search baits, you know what, you're kind of covering a lot of water, and what's your goal?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've done this in seminars, talked about it in seminars before, especially fishing the Great Lakes, is that, you know, search baits are called search baits for a reason. You know, you're moving them fast, you're able to cover water quickly. It's hard to do that with a tube or a drop shot or some kind of sort of finesse bait. You know, that's not for searching for fish. You know, you're using fast baits, jerk baits, crank baits, spinner baits, swim baits, that sort of bait that you can really move quickly, cover water, and just sort of see where fish are. You know, you pull a fish from an area, then you can go in and check it out, and then if you're starting to see some fish, you can slow down and kind of figure out what's happening. But if you tried to just fish slow from the beginning, you just would not cover enough water, and you can go through miles.
Yeah, it's quite huge.
Literally miles of dead water. So it's so imperative, it's so important to you know, just be on high speed. You know, have that trolling motor on 7/8 all day long and just go, go, go.
So Nick, what's the game plan here today?
Well, you know, Gary, just running around looking for some shallow water, you know, either spawning fish or pre-spawn or post-spawn. You know, it's that time of year where they just come in shallow, and you know, it's such a large area. You're just looking for a small little pocket or corner that a group of fish will congregate around, something that they like, whether it's rock or sand or something different, because the flat's so big. You can just spend an entire day. So, you know, a lot of it is visual. You know, we have a pretty good day today where it's sunny and you can kind of, you know, move around pretty quickly. On a cloudy day, this would be a hard thing to do. You're really just going on luck. You can't use a graph in this case. It gives you some idea, but not enough to really, you know, avoid an area. You just got to fish through it.
Are you ready for the action?
But, you know, Gary, I know you and I talked about this when we were on the boat. You know, when you're on these big lakes, you know, your equipment really takes a beating, and you know, you almost expect that, you know, things are going to happen, and you know, it was good that we were prepped for it. You know, we had all the tools and stuff like that. The Talon, one of the shallow water anchors, went down on us, but we went into some shallow bait there, and within, you know, half an hour we had it off. And
yeah, that was quite a bit of a challenge, but it worked out.
Yeah,
you know, we definitely were throwing some curveballs. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the start of it, was the Talon. And we saw that storm coming, and we said, wow. You know, there was this far from the lake, you know, far away.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was small, but that's because it was far away. But eventually it got closer, we could tell, you know, so, but we were able to avoid that. It seemed to go around us.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
You know.
But we didn't see the one on the shore on the other side.
Well, yeah. And then we were, had the Talon pulled around. We managed to get into an area that we could, wasn't as rocky and can get it off. And, you know, we kept our composure and dealt with it. And we're ready to go back out again.
Yeah.
And then the area that you wanted to hit, it just, obviously the wind had picked up and you know, thinking that, oh, we better head back, and then thinking that, you know, once we round that corner, we'd be like the morning, you know, we'd just be able to, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sitting there holding that Talon, and then at one point got, like, speared and then just soaked from that wave, which was fun.
You know,
woke me up.
Yeah, believe me, it woke me up too, and you're the one that got hit.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, is that's, you know, that's the risk of this big water, you know. And I remember showing a friend of mine that I was going out in your bass boat, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
On Lake Ontario?
That's a word, yeah.
And I said, yeah, you know, it's necessary, you know, in these tournaments, and there is a risk, and there's a known phenomenon calling spearing a wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with your experience, you're able to navigate that, but we anyways rounded the corner and saw that babe was not at all calm. It was actually.
Yeah, that took me.
What was your sight? You
well,
saw
I mean, it took me by surprise. But you know, I've been in situations like that before on the big water where you're coming around a corner and you just see that black water with all that white cap, and you know that's generally, you know, what I would call like a storm surge, right? And you know that they're super high winds that are produced from a storm that's nearby. We didn't see it. We didn't know. We thought we saw the one storm and thought, okay, whatever. But you know, this has probably been the one time it happened to me on Simcoe, and another time it happened to me on this lake. But I think as many times as it happens, you never really know it's happening until you see it. And it's so hard to predict.
I mean, there's blue skies and everything, and you're focused on. But it's something obviously was miles and miles away.
Yeah, it was far away, but
it was causing this.
Yeah, causing this
heavy wind.
Heavy wind that came out of nowhere, and once you're in it and you see it, it's too late. There's nothing you can do. I mean, we had maybe a 5 mile run in, but it felt like it was 25 miles.
I think part of it was good for me because I really didn't know what I was in for.
Yeah,
because I don't have the experience.
No,
you know, but you're you're obviously calm and
yeah, I mean,
you have experience and put me at ease too, and just, you know, I've been in some situations only on Simcoe. Yeah. But you just keep the nose up and take your time.
Do. Just keep the nose up and just go nice and easy. I mean, you know, if you push it, you know, I know some guys try and get on top of the waves, and you can do that, but if you miss a wave the wrong way, with the force of that water, you're gonna do some damage. It's not worth it. You know, your life is way more important than anything else. So, you know, just take your time and you get back and, you know, live to fish another day.
Yeah. And that's another reason why they have kill switches on these boats, you know.
That's right.
You get into situations, you know, that are quite dangerous, but that's the challenge of big water, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
you hear about it, and now, I mean, obviously you've experienced it.
Yeah, now you've
appreciate you give me that opportunity. Well, you didn't call the weather, but
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You never, you know, the weather is what it is, and I mean that's one of the biggest challenges in fishing, and especially tournament fishing, is that, you know, you don't get to choose when you go out. You go out when the tournament is on, and you have to make things happen regardless of what the conditions are. You know, it wouldn't be the first time that I've been in many tournaments where guys are stranded, they're broken down, they've cracked their hulls, they've lost their motors.
Yeah.
That's the passion that we have, to go out and make things happen, and but you know, you always have to, you know, be careful and know what's going on.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest challenges on this Lake Ontario, the beast of Lake Ontario?
Well, you know, I think the first thing is its size. It's just so big, and you know, you always run off that the grass is greener on the other side. You get into an area and you're not really doing anything, and you just want to run to the next spot. But like anything, you know, whatever spot, whether you're shallow or deep, or you know, it's a large area or small area, they're always congregating in a small space, and it's so easy to miss it. You just have to be disciplined and go through the entire thing. It's the only way. You know, they talk about eliminating water. It's important to do that because somewhere in this there'll be a pocket of fish somewhere, and it's easy to miss if you don't go through it.
So I mean, the reason that you're here and putting in so much time is that there is so much water to cover, and you need to put in the time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, tournaments like this, you're going up against the best sticks in this area, and you know, to think that you're going to win, you just need a lot of luck, and it's hard. You know, I never want to rely on luck to win a tournament. You got to go out there and put the time on the water and figure things out. So, you know, it's challenging. You're going to have some good days and bad days, but you know, it's all about the eye on the prize, and you know what you get out of it in the end. So.
And what's the tournament you're shooting for here?
Well, it's actually, there's 3 of them. It's the Costa FLW is the first one. That's coming up next weekend, and then I have the Canadian Open, which has been here for, I don't know, 6-7 years now, maybe even longer than that. No, it would be longer. And then the Thousand Island Open the week after. So it's three straight weeks on the same body of water. You know,
3 chances.
Yeah, 3 chances to win.
That's good odds.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, almost a month on the water, off and on. So.
Yeah. So what's the biggest of the 3?
You know, you know, from a financial perspective, for sure, the Costa FLW, I mean, would be amazing to win that. I mean, not just for the money, but the fact that you really are going up against the best sticks out here. So to win that one would be.
I'm sure you agree that Canada's really been making its mark. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians have been doing well on these, you know, prestigious tours, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the fishing here in Ontario is so diverse. There's so many different ways to catch bass that, you know, we learn a lot of the techniques that, you know, that you would use in many different lakes. So, you know, most of the Canadian anglers are pretty versatile in, you know, techniques and, you know, sort of different depths, different cover, you know, they understand that. So
has there ever been a time in history where so many, you know, Canadians are doing well?
No, I don't think so. And I think what you're having, the younger generation are getting into it more, and they're putting more time. They, you know, back in the days, we would have like a day or two to go out, you know, maybe 20, 30 days an entire summer. But the new generation, those guys are putting some time on the water. And, you know, I think you're starting to reap the benefits from it. You look at the Johnston brothers and, you know, Cal Clemson, like just to name a few. These guys are making their mark, and they're putting time on the water. They're good sticks. They come from that pedigree too. Their fathers did it. It was in their family. So, I mean, they're good. They're tough guys to beat. But, you know, I cherish the tournaments to go up against those guys, the best guys that are out there. You know, when you're winning a tournament, you've earned it. So, you know, tough competition makes it hard to win, and for sure it does. But, you know, if you're going to win a tournament, the way I look at it is I want to know that I beat the best. So.
Are you ready for the action?